Alright, what's up, y'all? You know what time it is. Keenan just felt like cooking. And yes, I'm back at you with another version of a video that I did called Doing a Cook-Up. In the first one, I used chicken. Alright, and this is all under the tutelage of my wife. And this one, she came up with something, and I was like, hey, let me knock that out for a video. Check out the combination we put together. Okay, so for this little combination that I was talking about, we're using beef. This is some beef stew meat here that we had soaking in some vinegar and water. Measurements use on what you was brought up seeing, because that's what we're doing. And then seasoned it with some Goya Total right here, some Goya Adobo right there, and then a little bit of black pepper. Didn't measure that either. I'm just telling you, we just going by a traditional recipe that she grew up watching and something similar that I grew up watching. And for the veggies, we got this squash right here. We're going to cut that up, and we're going to leave the pieces kind of big so it doesn't disintegrate. Okay. We got some onion. We use a little bit of that. Got some stalk of celery here. A few sprigs of thyme. Of course, the All Mighty habanero. And we're going to be adjusting our seasonings with some more black pepper, garlic powder, some onion powder right there, and some tomato paste, and of course the Goya's back here, because we're using water for a liquid. And when you use water, you got to adjust your seasonings. And then for the rice portion, because we're going to add some rice in there just like the last time, because it is a cook-up, we're going to use some good old parboil. Use whatever you got available. That's what we had available. All right, let's get to it. So I got some nice soybean oil heated up. Yeah, I know. I'm actually using soybean oil. Never use, well, I never use it, but I'm pretty sure it's been used before in something I ate from this bad boy. And we got this meat here, and it came to room temperature a little bit. Got it in the bag right here. We're just gonna let that sit right there as we brown off this meat. I think that's the key when you're doing any kind of like cook-ups and you're using protein. I think the key, and when you're using the one pot, the key is to brown your meat. That's what you want to see when you're browning your meat. Another quick tip from your boy is when you are browning meat in batches, give your pan a chance to come back up to temp. So when you place your meat in there, it just don't start steaming and boiling. Yeah, you got some good color on that meat right there. So now while the skillet is getting hot, you don't want to throw all that away. We're going to go ahead and add that onion in there. You do want to turn your fire down a little bit. And then as you notice it coming down the temp, you turn it back up. So we got that onion. We got that diced up celery. Just using that for flavor. Break out the old wooden spoon. Okay. So when we add a liquid in here, we're going to get all these good bits at the bottom. We're going to get all those up, and that's going to be part of the flavoring as well. Get a little look in that pot. So you can see we got all that flavoring in the bottom right there. And we're just going to let that cook. All that's going to come up with our liquid. Let me reach on over here. These veggies is going. Now, I got it at about a medium heat. Keep everything going. Oh, you hear that? Yeah. So we're going to add a good, nice heaping tablespoon of some tomato paste. You know, tomato paste and beef love each other. I'm not a big fan of tomatoes, but tomato paste, salsa, pizza sauce, spaghetti sauce, all that, I'm all over. Incorporate that up in there. That's going to bring nice depth of flavor and color. The concentrated tomato flavor goes with a lot of stuff and brings out a lot of flavor, and it helps you with your color as well. We're going to add the beef back in here with all them juices. Okay, got this all mixed up, and then you see the bottom there is getting clear. Because the juice from the beef and then the beef and the onions, all that, you just move it around. Make Make sure you get down in there and scrape that up. Use the meat, use the onions. I mean, they all know each other. I think they all like cousins, so it's all good. And to that, we're gonna add like 4 cups of water. Let me reach over, cha, and we're gonna add this in here like that. Just to cover it, okay? Just to cover it. So we're gonna go ahead and let that simmer a little bit. We're gonna put the lid on it, of course, and let it bubble, toil away, and then we're gonna be back with the rice and the squash. All right, back in a minute. So it's been about 35 minutes, and as you can see, it reduced right there. See, that's where the liquid was, and it dropped down, so you know the flavors has concentrated. This beef is getting nice. It's working. We're gonna let it cook some more because you want it tender, and you know it's not like chewing on cow balloons or the actual udder. Now we're gonna add this squash in there, and this is the 2 acorn squash. And we're gonna go ahead and drop that in there. And the pieces are kind of big because you don't want it to disintegrate, you know. And then it just like, you know, it'll be a good thickener, but that's not the point. You want to, the point is to eat, to be able to get some beef and a piece of squash in your bite. So we're not making squash soup, which is good. We're making a nice beef and squash cook up, baby. That's what we do. 1 pot. So we're gonna add, and I got a cup of water here. That look about right. So I'm gonna cover this. I'm gonna go ahead and add a couple sprigs of thyme. Tizzle whizzle. And this is where, since we added some more water, this is where you want to add a little bit of seasoning. You know, just to re-season a little bit. So, you know, just a little bit of onion powder. It's about a teaspoon of that. Got a little bit of garlic powder. About a teaspoon of that. And then we got the Goyas. I'm going to get a little bit of the Goya total. Got about a tablespoon of that, and then a little bit of Goya adobo, and about half a tablespoon of that. And then I'm not gonna add no more black pepper. What I'm gonna do is drop a bomb in there, baby. Yeah. Okay, now. It's probably been about 20 minutes, man, on a nice, good, medium low. And we want to add this rice. And to know when to add the rice is when your fork does that to your squash. Okay? Goes in, still got some integrity, still got some bite, still got some thickness. That's why you cut them big so they don't disintegrate and mush all up in there. So let's add this rice in here. And we got, how much rice is this? 2 cups of rice. All right, 2 cups of rice. Remember, I added an extra cup of water. And if you notice, the water released from the squash definitely brought it up because it wasn't that high. So we added 2 cups of rice in there. We're gonna go ahead and mix that up. You ain't in there trying to beat up your squash or anything like that. You just want to get that rice down there in that liquid and make sure that it's all covered. You know, the pieces that stuck on the squash right there, you want to get that down in there. You want to make sure those are down in that rice. All right. Look at that, man. That's, whoo! That is looking so good. All right, as you can see, it's boiling. So we're gonna go ahead and put the lid back on this bad boy and let it boil for the next 15 minutes, 15 to 20 more minutes, and or when the rice is done. So I would suggest check it in like 15 minutes to see where your rice is at, and then if you need to adjust it, add more water or anything like that, be sure to adjust your seasonings. Yeah, so after about 15, 17 minutes or so, I removed it from the heat, covered it, let it sit, and then I went to go finish watching the Chiefs and Bills game. So now it's an overtime. So when this video is being shown, when it's ready, I wouldn't know who's going to the Super Bowl. But yeah, look at that. Beef. Rice. Squash. And then beef is tender. Look. I just broke that with the spoon. Okay. The squash got tender. It didn't break up into like little or just disappear in there. That's why we cut it pretty big. We use the parboiled rice so it'll cook faster. Some thyme, habanero, seasoned with some Goya, black pepper, onion powder, garlic powder. Yeah, so that is definitely. Okay, so got a bowl here. It is amazing. Got a little sample. And boy, I'm gonna tell you, when you get that stew meat, it's a leaner cut. So it's not too much fat on there. So you're supposed to cook it down, cook it low and slow with some liquids. Get your braise on it. And it does it some justice. And soaking it in vinegar and water does it some justice. I mean, it's so tender. It's not crumbly. It doesn't crumble. It just comes away like a good piece of chuck. It goes good with rice and acorn squash cooked together. This is a unique cook-up. I'm not even gonna lie. These are the one with the chicken. That's a little bit more understandable. But coming with squash and beef, with thyme, habanero, parboiled rice, all that. I mean, it goes together so well. You would think this would put you to sleep, but no, it would definitely. I think this would give you some energy to get you through the day. I'm not speechless, man. I'm good. The parboiled rice speeds it up. So, hey, appreciate everybody checking me out. Y'all be cool out there. Thanks to all the people who've been watching and subscribing to my channel, leaving the comments, letting me know people checking out the recipes and it's working out for them. Always adjust the seasons. Don't necessarily just like, when you watch any recipe, you adjust it to your taste. You can follow the original, but when you do it again, make sure you adjust it to your liking and make sure it pleases the people who you are serving. All right, don't forget to like, subscribe, share your boy's video. Y'all be cool out there.